Welcome to the BJJ Fightgear Lockdown Talks. My name is Misha, and today I'm talking to Harun Özkan, the co-founder of Combat Brothers, a very successful gym in the Netherlands. We will be talking about how to build a successful Jiu Jitsu and MMA gym, and also how to combine having recreational competitors as well as pro fighters in your academy. Harun, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
How are things going over there? It's still pretty much lockdown, especially on the sports area of things. How are things for you right now?
So for martial arts or any contact sport, it's locked down until 1st of September. But some gyms can open on 1 July. But I think the rules are yet to be communicated by the government. But I think it will be the same, like with distance, etc. But then inside the gym, so what we're doing now outside.
Right.
But for us, it's still 1 September. I hope it will be earlier. I'm aiming for 1st of August, but yeah, we'll have to see. We are very limited in what we can do now.
What are you doing? What are you doing at the moment? Just like solo drills outside or cardio exercises?
Yeah, we're now offering some classes outside, like strength and conditioning classes, and we are trying to incorporate some martial arts elements, or for example, rowing with the gi, shadow boxing, simple stuff. Mm-hmm. But solo, that's for sure. So everybody works on their own. Just strength and conditioning.
Right. That's And how does the response to that? Or do people? Like, do you see a lot smaller group coming to those classes than that they would do to the normal classes?
Yeah, there's like a lot of difference in because some guys or girls, some people from the gym, they just want to roll. They just want to do jiu-jitsu. You know, they're not waiting to swing a kettlebell or to do shadow boxing or whatever. And some guys are like, hey, that's cool. I can at least move, and they keep coming every week. So you have those two separate groups.
Yeah.
And then, the second group, I can make them happy, the people that just want to move. But the first one, they just want to roll. And we cannot do that. So they just have to wait, and we see them not coming. And that's fine. You know, it's up to them. Right. But at least we offer it. So.
Yeah. And you guys have a multidisciplinary gym with BJJ and MMA, but also CrossFit and things like that. But is it easier to still do something for the MMA group than for BJJ? In terms of what exercises you can still do, shadow boxing you mentioned, and
I think I said maybe it may be a bit more in terms of solo drills, but it's still not a lot. So you still, because in martial arts we need another human to train, to fight, to roll, whatever it is. So even the MMA guys, they are like very limited in what can they do. There's like minimal difference in what they do, or the jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah. So maybe some back training when you guys move back inside?
Sorry?
Some back training when you guys move back inside of the gym?
Yeah. We have some plans. We did some work on the background, and we have some plans when we open, hosting like a trainings week or opening day, to get back to where we started. Excited to see what the condition is of a lot of people from the gym.
Right. Yeah. And what keeps you busy now? And there's obviously less, or I imagine there's less work to do for the academy, but maybe it's extra work. But what do you do these days?
Well, I'm training a lot as well myself, and we're doing actually quite some stuff for the gym. So for now, the only difference is not teaching. And I always say, like, teaching is like the most fun thing to do, and it doesn't take the most energy maybe. I think a lot of stuff on the background, what people don't see, like running the gym, like management. I think you with the web shop know some of that stuff as well, and those things you don't see at the first sight, but those things take time. Like just simple things like thinking about clothing, sending out an email. Well, it's all very simple, but it has to be done, and sometimes it racks up. And what we did now, for example, in the gym is we tried to make it nicer. A lot of people before Corona said, "Oh, it's a nice gym, etc." But for us, it's always like it can be done better. And so we've put up some medals, some prizes, some trophies. We're gonna make a picture display. We've changed the how do you call it? The infrastructure of the gym as well. Just trying to light some things up. And so when people get back to the gym after Corona, they're like, "Whoa, those guys did something," even though we don't teach classes. Yeah. So I'm keeping myself busy with that mainly, and but it's pretty relaxed. Besides that.
Yeah, good. I guess the things you described are also things that really help you to become successful as an academy, as a gym, because I can imagine a lot of people starting out at their own academy, their own gym, they think it's just about teaching, and they underestimate all the other things that need to happen. Because you guys started out in 2017, you together with Reinier the Ritter, who's now super successful in ONE FC. Yeah. And you guys started pretty much from scratch, and then you were able to grow to I think a few hundred members now within 1 or 2 years time. How did that come about? How did you do that so successfully?
It's a long story, but I'll try to grasp everything. So indeed, we started from scratch. So me and Reinier were training together for a long time. We are good friends. So at one point we were left without a gym, and we decided to start our own. So a fun story at the beginning, our name was the Ritter and Özkan. Our last names, it was just temporary, and we had a logo with a Ritter and a kebab logo on the shield. Right. So first of all, we were thinking about names, and I think that this is also took literally a couple of months to come to Combat Brothers, because we were thinking everybody is calling their name something blah 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 academy, or with all due respect, of course, but when you tell someone that doesn't do martial arts, the average gym, if you tell them Pap Academy, they're like, what is it, Yeah. And with Combat Brothers, I think we nailed it with the name as well, because combat says martial arts, and brothers give the community thing, brotherhood, and the good we're together, and we were allowed to use it for combat sisters, combat kids, so it was a nice follow-up. So with the name, I think that's the starting point, was a very good one. And I have to say, when we started out, we were so as you know, I mentioned the CrossFit part. We are working together with a partner, Impact Sports Academy. Actually, since day one, since we started, we went with them. We did a trial. We did a trial, few months to see how it would work out, and we realized after a few months that we were both on the same line in terms of sending out good vibes, quality training, everything, and we were quite aligned with each other. Mm-hmm. So then we decided to stay together, and sometimes it was difficult, had to grow up, but after 3 years we really immersed with each other. And if you come now into the gym, you see Combat Brothers Impact Sports Academy, you see still it's two different gyms under one roof, but interconnected with each other. So if you walk into the gym, you see people throwing 1,000 kilos over the head, and then in the back you see people doing osotogaris, punching each other in the cage. Yeah. And I think that's really cool when you except for newcomers, but also for visitors, and for me as well. Actually, I'm daily going there. When I walk in on a normal day, you're like, oh, this is a place to train. People train here, and good vibes, everybody laughing, everybody working hard. And I think that's what made our gym a bit that contributed to our success as well, to the partnership, because a lot of people see what you do, because jiu-jitsu for us, it's an everyday thing, but for the average guy, they never heard of it. So I think that helped. And then, so that's this from the starting point, the name, the partnership was really, really nice to have. And I think that helped us a lot. And then it comes to how we run the gym. And I think that's what you exactly said. A lot of people just think it's teaching, but it's not about teaching. I think everybody can teach, and although I think there may be better methods to teach or not, everybody has their own things. Well, that's up to the owner, coach, whatever. Right. But besides that, there are a lot of things that that play a significant role in having success is what do you do outside? How you communicate with your members? What are you doing for them? How are you treating newcomers? And for us, for example, we have Jiu Jitsu and MMA, and those are two different groups. You know, a lot of people cross train, but still some do just MMA, which are a bit of different people. Some do Jiu Jitsu. How are you going to do rules? What kind of politics you have in your gym? Something I really hate, by the way.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, those play a significant role in what I think contributed to our success. Well, I haven't visited every gym in the Netherlands, so I cannot speak. And I am not someone to judge other gyms on how they do this. I respect everyone's work. But I think for us, we did some things different with trying to put out the vibes. Don't put too much like hierarchical rules, or you have to do this, not too strict.
Yeah.
That was really our emphasis since day one. And I think for me and Reinier, because we were the owners and the head coaches, we were always there. We had to give that vibe to our members so they could carry it and give it to others, you know, to visitors, to newcomers, and to each other. And that worked out really well, I think.
And what would be an example? You mentioned good communication with newcomers, but also with people already at the gym. What would be an example of how you guys did that?
So I think first step is to realize when someone, for example, a newcomer, someone who never did martial arts, it's very hard for us, for you as well, because you train jiu-jitsu, you do martial arts, is to put to go back in the time when you never did martial arts. The first step for that guy to step into your gym, it's already a huge milestone. Because for us, it's like, for us, it's a casual day. You know, we don't even think about it. It's normal. But for them, it's like a huge barrier. They have to think, they look on internet, they watch videos. They're like, man, this is a tough sport. And then they come in, they see guys in gis, they throw each other. They see some guys punching in the cage, and they're like overwhelmed with information. They're like, whoa, how this is scary, you know? And I believe really a lot of newcomers think like that. Even though some may try to put up a poker face, but it's still very exciting for them. So for you, for example, if I'm teaching the class or Reinier or any else of our trainers, the moment you approach that guy, it's very important that you make him comfortable. If you go like, hey man, here's your gi, go to the locker room, I'll see you in 5 minutes. That's like, the guy is like even more nervous now, you know? You just, hey man, thank you for
get beat up.
Yeah, and then they get beat up, and then they will never come back, you know? And then you ruined their jiu-jitsu career or MMA career, whatever.
Right.
If you walk to them and approach them like, hey man, how have you been? Did you do any sports before? If mostly that answer is no, or like in the case of martial arts, okay, don't worry, I'm here to help you. Just let everyone know you're a beginner. If you have any questions, ask your teammates, come to me, give them a safe feeling, because it is safe, you know? And then in the class, when the class starts, you know, for example, Tony is the new guy. I say, hey, Tony, welcome. This is first class. Can you put up your hands? He puts up his hands. Everybody watches at him. I say, you take it easy today on him. It's his first day. Nice. And he's like, immediately feels like more unsafe. And he's like over the barrier to enter the gym. And now he's in your class and he feels like, oh, you know, those guys are not going to kill me. Yeah. And that, I think that makes a huge impact. And then of course it's up to them, to the guy, to the new, who decides if they like the sport, if they like the gym, if they like the people that train there. But I think those small things, that's just one of the example that's now in my mind. I think those make a huge difference. You know?
Right. And is it also something you facilitate with the type of classes? Like, do you have a specific beginner course or things like that? Or people just go into the main classes?
Well, we have for all of our classes, so we offer Jiu-Jitsu, grappling, and MMA. We have beginners classes set up. And those are actually really successful. And I think mostly because indeed the name beginners, if you talk about barriers, they're like, when it says Jiu-Jitsu for beginners, And if you're a newcomer, you're more likely tend to go to there than when it says jiu-jitsu competition class,
Yeah,
And that's of course that's very logical. So we started that, but it's not mandatory for newcomers to go to the beginners class. They can. So we advise them if they want to try a class or if they want to start out, we advise them take the beginner classes. So maybe they just want to train all three. We say, okay, go to the beginners classes for a month and slowly build up to the regular classes, because the difference is, of course, in terms of tempo in the class and a regular class, just like techniques get shown 2-3 times and you have to do it. You have to have a basic understanding. But even if you don't, you're still welcome as a newcomer into the regular classes, but you will have a harder time. So that's why we advise go to the beginners classes, but you are welcome to the regular classes as well. But no specific rule for them as a newcomer, like you cannot roll or you have to just come to this class. We don't do that.
Yeah, that sounds very free and open.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
Is it because from what I understood from you so far, it's very important how you run the school and the quality of everything that you do in order to grow. Is there also an emphasis on marketing or some kind of promotion to bring in new members, or is that purely based on word of mouth and just running a good gym and that will just attract more and more people?
No, actually we do a lot of marketing, and I think if you watch our social media or website, we try to make everything spick and span, as we say in Dutch.
Yeah.
I think so. Indeed, what you said, what you do inside the gym is really important. The face-to-face, how you communicate, etc. But outside of that, the marketing that really makes you a brand. As for example, for us as Combat Brothers, when people go on the website, I want to make them think, whoa, this is a nice website, because it makes it more friendly for them. And through the website, I communicate what my gym stands for. So if I just put a screaming gorillas on the video and people punching each other, I'm like, no. For example, if I'm scrolling, then I will have a different vibe. If I just see normal people, I see people laughing, I see a normal video with a nice music on the background. Oh, those guys are not killing each other. It's not just bald guys all on steroids on tattoos, We still have those stereotypes, and you have to break that. And with marketing, for example, with social media, we do a lot. For 2020, man, almost no one lives without social media. We do the content, a lot of content we do. We make, for example, you barely see a picture posted from us that is taken with an iPhone or something. Mm-hmm. I just want professional pictures with the videos as well. We try to make everything a bit more professional. It takes a bit more time, but I think it's really worth it. And so also on the website, you see, for example, if you watch About Us, you see a nice small video about 1 minute, 15 seconds. Yeah. You see me talking, you see the guys in the gym and I think that's really important if you can communicate that already through your channels. Because for people that don't know your gym or they're orientating, it's really good if you can give them information in a nice way, not just come train, take a class, and see for yourself. Because that's not enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. And how did that go in the beginning? Because you guys, like you mentioned, you started just with the two of you. How were the first weeks or months to go from, I don't know, maybe you had a few people that you already trained with that started out with you, but it was probably a very small group that had to grow step by step?
Yeah, so we started with around 20 people. I think, it was around 20, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
And we started out slowly. For us, it was, to be honest, I never expected to grow this hard, Well, at least I see now we put a lot of energy and effort. But in the beginning, it was like we opened it and we were like, just go with the flow, So we started out 20, and then I remember the first 6 months, Some people came by, some new people, some people who already did jiu-jitsu from other gyms. And then in 2018, we started picking things up. So with clothing as well, with social media, with the website. We started thinking about how we teach classes, how to make like a structural thing, what can be the best. And when we started doing that, we saw each month we were like growing. And I think maybe the sport was also getting popular. We have a good competition team, as well as you mentioned, the MMA pro guys, but also the jiu-jitsu and the grappling team, which were putting out names on the competition scene. And so everything started like to fit together with the marketing, the team, winning prizes, good classes, good teachers, and then we just saw steady growth, like each month, boom, 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 boom. And then in 2019, it like went through the roof. We introduced some extra classes. We are offering a lot of classes now each week. And I think that's so from the beginning on how it rolled up until now. And then, now we're here.
Yeah. So it's doing all those different things, right? Everything coming together.
Yeah. It's not just one thing. It's not just teaching classes, or it's not just making one nice video. I don't think you're gonna get far with that. But if you do everything correctly and know what you want, give the which way do you want to be seen to the outer world. If you try to think about that and communicate that through every channel you have inside your gym, outside your gym, I think then pieces will fit together, and then you will probably grow, hopefully.
Yeah. Right. Now, there's the city that you guys are based at. There were already some jiu-jitsu schools there, or grappling academies. And I mean, you're not in a village, obviously, but it's not the biggest city possible. So I guess people starting out that have the idea of starting their own academy, they might be put off a bit. I hear that sometimes, like I would like to start it here, but there's already another school in the area or something like that. But that's not something that kept you guys back. What advice would you give on that? Like, is there always enough opportunity, or what are your thoughts on that?
For us, it was no way that we were held back from that, because we know we could do things different. And that's why we actually went with this, and that's how it now goes. Because yes, there may be another gym in the neighborhood, and maybe it may be successful, maybe not. But if you have like an idea of jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna open a school, and you think you have like a different mindset, or you're like, hey, I want to do this and this, I think you should just go for it. It's easier said than done. But if you're gonna offer the same, then I will say, okay, maybe think about that. If you're just gonna put some mats and then, I feel what we talked about, if you're just gonna teach jiu-jitsu and that's it,
right?
Well, maybe you can get a few members, but it will be very limited. But I think if you come with something new, use your own network, and it takes some time. And maybe for us, we were lucky. I don't know. Maybe we were lucky with our partner. Maybe we were lucky because of the members we started out with. But I think it's still for everyone possible. If there's just one gym in your city and you want to start out, well, think about what you want to do and then go, and then try to differentiate yourself from the other gyms. And maybe it can be very hard. I would assume so, because why would I train with you, for example, than going to there? And if you start questioning those questions towards yourself, then you will come up with some things which may give you the reason to open up the gym.
Yeah. What were the biggest challenges for you in the beginning?
Well, we got there were actually not a lot of huge challenges, just because it was getting more and more busy. We had to think about like operational stuff. For example, just to give you a small example, you see we introduce an MMA class and a lot of people come. And for example, the MMA beginners class, we see, for us, it's very important, good vibes, good training, and safety. And then we see like guys coming in that watch the UFC. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go at it. Boom, blue. They have blood on their nose, and then you have like those small problems you have to address. As well as in the gym, it's mostly actually in the gym the challenges we have than outside.
Yeah.
For example, classes are getting huge. Problems within the class, problems maybe between members, people injuring each other. We had to, because we were always very open, we also wanted to have an open vibe, open environment, like everything good, just we want to train hard, but not too much strict rules. But we realized sometimes we let go of it too much, we were too open.
Right.
So we had to scale that back, and actually we did that a little bit. So it doesn't mean we were like forcing 10,000 types of rules, but we were a bit more stricter as teachers as well. And then we try to overcome those challenges, and I think it's going well.
Yeah. People probably also need a bit of structure, right? Like they love freedom and openness.
Yeah, I think because so, for example, in our gym, you can wear any gi color you want, any brand. We don't care if you want to train at another gym, but there are rules just to structure the class, not rules to make you wear my gi or to whatever it is. You have to wear this gi or you have to bow before you go on the mat. For us, it's not the case. There are just some rules to structure the class. So be on time, we line up, everybody stays on the mat, let the teacher know if you go. So simple things, we try to enforce them, but that's it. We are not forcing people to do stuff we don't want to do. So, for example, I think a lot of talk issue is people training at other gyms. So, for example, my member training in Rotterdam or Amsterdam, wherever it is, on another gym.
Yeah.
From what I've heard and what I've seen, is mostly it's not allowed. It's like we are absolutely against those stuff. If someone trains at my gym and he wants to train somewhere else, I'm happy for him that he wants to train. That he wants to train more. He can pick up knowledge there for himself. Maybe share it with us, maybe not. But who am I to not allow him to train there?
Yeah, and it's hard to check on even. I imagine.
And for me, it's so weird that still happens a lot, because I would like, how can you, you're offering a service. They pay, they come to train. Of course, it's a bit more than that. When you're a team, you feel something. But I think if you are open, if you say, hey man, you can train wherever you want. We don't care. You want to represent the gym when you're in the competition, not our gym. We're still good friends. You can still train with us. We don't really care. And if you bring that vibe to them, I think that even makes them whoa, those guys, it doesn't matter. We had those reactions. I was like, are you surprised? And there, I can do this. I'm like, hey man, for me, it's absolutely fine. It gives them a different feeling of like, for example, they are more satisfied for sure for themselves, but it does the gym good, because they then tell others, hey, look, man, I can just train whatever I want with them.
Yeah.
How cool is that, Yeah. Well, for me, it's very normal, but how cool is that? And then you get feedback and they're like, oh man, really, this is really nice. And the environment is nice, good vibes. And that's a huge compliment for me.
Right. So everything, as long as it contributes to those three pillars, good vibes, good training, and safety.
Yeah. So not making rules to make it more complicated,
Right.
I don't like to force. Why would I force people? I want people to buy my stuff. I don't want to force them. I want to make such cool gis that they're like, I need to have the gi. They don't have to buy it. It's their money. They can choose to wear a blank gi, from another brand. I don't care.
Yeah.
But we offer it, and it shouldn't be forced,
And what do you think the added benefit is, or the added value is, of having team gis, regardless of whether you force them or you make it open?
A lot. So I would really advise this as well to other gyms. Just not team gis, but think about casual clothing, rash guards, with the gis as well. It makes, if we go back to, it makes it very nice for the eye as well. When you come into the gym, you see everyone wearing cool gis, Combat Brothers rash guard, and you have the Combat Brothers logo on the wall.
Yeah.
It gives a bit of unity in the team. And it's nice in competition when they represent you. You know, people see, oh, that's the guy from Combat Brothers. Oh, that's a cool rash guard. You know, that stuff. But also on the other hand, if you go to marketing, if you watch our videos or pictures, you always see Combat Brothers t-shirt, Combat Brothers logo. And I think that's, well, maybe people may say, yeah, what does it matter if you just have a black gi or a Combat Brothers gi black? That makes a huge difference in terms of the content you have. If you just see people rolling in Combat Brothers gi, then you see another guy punching with MMA gloves from Combat Brothers or whatever it is. Yeah. It makes the total package, you know, it's the finer things, and then it adds up, and then it's like, wow. I think so. In that term, I think it's the gis as well as the normal clothing. It's really, it's important. It's not the best way to make money, but it's good for other stuff.
Yeah. I understand. And is it, because I can definitely feel, and of course I know you guys a bit more, that you guys think of these things at a bit higher level rather than just, I like training, so I start a gym. You know, there's a lot behind everything, behind the marketing, behind running it as a business. What is your background, for example, and maybe Reinier's? Do you have, did you do a certain study that is business related, or from what area do you guys come?
So Reinier is a physiotherapist. So he is working a lot with the body, and that's nice to have, because when I have pain, I always can go to him. Right. And he runs his own, what do you call it in English? Physiopraktijk?
Yeah, physiotherapist practice.
Something like that, yeah. He has that. He actually studied that as well before starting his business there. Me, myself, I actually recently graduated in January for my second master. I did my first master in supply chain management.
Oh, cool.
My second master in information management. And during that period, I was working also part-time for a big company, very flexible, which was perfect for me as a student and for me able to train.
Yeah.
And also before that time, I worked. My family has some businesses in the food hospitality, just some places where you can eat. Work there.
But you've seen entrepreneurship growing up. You've seen those examples.
Actually, my whole family are all like own business owners. And actually, to be honest with you, in the beginning, I was like, no, I don't feel like doing this. I just want to study and see how it goes. I was always like, go with the flow. But never thought like I would be a business owner, or, well, didn't block it out, but it was not my ambition since I was a kid or something. You know, it just came along the path. Just with sports, it was different. It was like, this is with sports, I want to do something. And so with the gym, it was perfect.
Right.
But in the family, it grew up, and then I always studied. So I'm now 25, and I recently graduated. So now with Corona and stuff, a bit relaxer, just the gym, and working on some things besides that with for my personal stuff. Yeah,
but are you living totally off the gym now, or do you still have or until recently still had a job on the side of that?
No, so when I stopped studying, I quit my job at the company as well.
All right.
So because it was perfect for me as a student, flexible, and it was good to earn money. But now it's just a gym, and it's okay. I'm not complaining. But I have to see, maybe looking for a job that's in my field, but just waiting for Corona stuff to be over, and I don't have any hesitation.
Yeah,
just enjoying my time now.
Right, of course, yeah. But it's something you can combine definitely with running a relatively larger gym.
Yeah, for sure. I think for sure. But I have to see how, for example, if I have a job, I don't want to work full time. So 3 days or something like that would be perfect. But I know it's very hard to find for the stuff I studied for, because it's demanding full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So I have to see how is that gonna work out. But I think it's for sure possible. Just don't get a job that makes you work 50 hours a week. Because I'm not gonna skip my training or gonna train less or whatever.
Okay, cool. You need to make time for that, of course.
Yeah.
So about the gym itself, what does the future look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How do you see Combat Brothers growing and developing?
Well, so since now since the growth we had, I was always like in the back of my mind, okay, are we gonna have a setback, or just always growing, and maybe at one point it's like boom, the other way.
Right.
Well, was not the case, but just with Corona, for example, but that's for all businesses. But we are still okay, even though Corona, we're still good. We're still working on some things. For the future, I see, and I think that's for us. We're still a young team, and as you mentioned, we have the competition guys, the regular guys, and for me, it's personally as well. I want to get into the field of how we can coach those competition stuff, the fighters, the Jiu-Jitsu guys, onto a next level. And for me, I teach classes, but I would not consider myself as a coach. Yes, I coach people, but for me, there's like still so much to learn on how to communicate, how to teach, what to do. And that's for me personally also very interesting. I'm trying to observe a lot of stuff now, during this period. In the 3 years we are started. I think for the future, it's something really interesting would be that you, as a Dutch team, because we in America, there's big teams. They have a huge competition team, a coach that stands by them. They're like structured training, etc., etc. And I think we can do that as well in the Netherlands. It's way harder, of course, because most guys that do Jiu-Jitsu and some of MMA, they are not full-time athletes. So you cannot just say you have to come this and this day. Everybody has their own work. They have to earn their money,
right,
etc. But I think there's still a lot of things that can be achieved there for MMA as well as for Jiu-Jitsu. So that's a focus point for us. And just building up the gym even more, trying to think about how we can build classes such that we maximize the knowledge transfer from teachers to the students. So we see the group to a higher level. I think this, Jiu-Jitsu is not just showing a technique, showing how to do a De La Riva sweep. It's much more than that. I think there we still have a lot to gain.
Yeah.
And I think for the future, that's definitely one of the focus points. But for the rest, it's just the same wall rolling and nothing crazy going on. Just trying to put up with the growth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And how do you combine those two? Because you already mentioned the recreational part, which is probably more the bread and butter of the business. That's the biggest group of students. And how do you combine that with also facilitating high level pro MMA athletes? Because I can imagine the good vibes, good training, safety, those three, they start to shift, or at least they get a bit different relation to each other when you have those two different types of athletes.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point and a good question, I would say. So indeed, your recreational, the hobbyisten, those are good for business, but not just, but they're good for a gym. We have indeed those two groups, as well as Jiu-Jitsu grappling. I think we have quite a big group that just does a lot of competition. And you have those guys that just train 1, 2, 3 times a week, maybe 4 if they're crazy. They just like jiu-jitsu. They just want to move. But I think what makes it so strong if you can blend them together. So the recreational guy, they think, whoa, I'm training with those guys, which is, they're training and probably helping them as well if they have a certain skill. So they're like, they have that wow effect. They're like, hey, I'm part of those guys. They fight, they win medals, they fight at one championship, but I'm training with them. How cool is that? I'm even giving them sparring rounds or, giving them a hard time.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the prof guys, they have a lot of fans in the gym, So I think it fits together some kind of way.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good, nice to see. What you see in our gym is when we have a jiu-jitsu competition, maybe 4 guys fight and there are like 10 supporters. So there you have the 4 guys from the competition group.
Yeah.
And all those other 10, they never did any competition. They don't want to. But they find it so cool that they are training with those guys, so they come to support. So they are happy, other guys happy. The competitors think, whoa, I have all those support. And it's always cool to see, that kind of stuff. And also in MMA, it's the same case.
And can you then, especially with your main fighters, you want to give a lot of focus on them because they need very specific training maybe, or like very disciplined. So you need to cater to that. How do you kind of shield that off more or less from the rest of the group then, in terms of what you do with them?
So if you look at the MMA guys, I think if you have MMA pro and the jiu-jitsu grappling team, I think those are 2 different kinds of cake. The MMA pros we have, I think there are like 5 guys. Well, we have for example, weekly sparring, which is only allowed by pros, and they get a little bit more extra attention. But still, what I said before with what we can gain from coaching stuff, I think that's an area we can still do a lot more, to focus a bit more on that, because I think those guys, they need it, and as well the jiu-jitsu and grappling guys, because it's not just about just come train, just come train every day and it will be good. Mm-hmm. That's just part of the work, of course, maybe the biggest part. But if you guide them a little bit, ask them, hey, how are you feeling? Anything going on, maybe in your personal life, how do you feel with this? What do you have in mind? Most of the time people get left alone. So they have, for example, Europeans. 2 guys are going to compete there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not enough just to say, okay, girls come train Monday to Sunday and maybe take a day off. It's just so... I need more structure and I need more guidance, and they need to have a guy that can help them during the process, think about them like a sparring partner, verbally. Just talk about some things. And I think that's an area where we can gain a lot. We don't do a lot there yet. We have some attention, to those guys that do competition, like during class as well as besides the class. They can always come to us, ask questions. Doesn't matter, we will always help them. We try to be there at competitions as well, because it helps when guys fight and they see the coach there or the trainers. It does something, so try to be there as well, with the MMA guys as well. But on that hand, I still think there's a lot to gain.
Right. But, what's the first name you think about if I ask about somebody that maybe not everybody watching this knows the name, but like that's an upcoming either MMA fighter or the next gold medal collecting guy in jiu-jitsu?
A name from my side.
Yeah. Do you have somebody in your team that you see like, okay, that guy is doing really well right now, and he's gonna, of course, now competitions are not open, but when things start back rolling again, and he's gonna be
we have some guys in the grappling team. I don't know if I want to call names.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you don't want to push one more forward than the others.
I don't want to call out names.
Yeah.
I don't know what their shape is now.
Round.
Yeah, probably round. But no, I don't want to call out names. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. We have the last part of the interview is our own version of Shark Tank. So I have a few quick questions. Some are just yes, no, and other ones you just say whatever comes in your mind. The first thing that pops up.
Okay.
BJJ or MMA?
BJJ.
Gi or no gi?
Gi.
Specific sparring or drilling?
Specific sparring.
Favorite technique?
Whew.
Yeah.
I would say Hiluk.
Hiluk. Favorite competitor?
Reinier.
Right. Favorite class to teach?
Favorite class to teach? Saturday morning grappling, I think.
Oh yeah, nice. Everybody's relaxed. Weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Saturday.
Yeah. Favorite gi?
The Combat Brothers gi, the black one.
Right. Favorite sport outside of BJJ and MMA?
Grappling. No joking. Strength and conditioning for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Losing a match is?
Can happen.
Yeah. Jiu Jitsu in the Netherlands?
Still a lot growth potential.
Nice. Best restaurant in Breda?
Restaurant?
Yeah.
Lades. Restaurant Lades.
Everybody go there? No, well, they open? Like you can have 30 people, 100 people?
It's for my uncle, so I'm doing a little bit promotion.
Oh, okay. Shout out. Good. Last question. What was your favorite moment with Combat Brothers so far?
My favorite moment with Combat Brothers. This is a difficult question. I have a lot of moments that I really like, but in general, to see the group, the members we have, seeing them, how they behave with each other, and that makes me really happy, to see the people on the mats smiling, rolling, trying to choke each other out, but then just slap bump and they're all happy.
Yeah.
And it's all good. That's really, I enjoy every time when I go to the gym. And that means for me, that's why I do this, So not specific one moment, because there are a lot, but I would say that is one of the things that really, really makes me happy.
Well, I hope that inspires a lot of other people watching this and that have aspirations of starting their own academy. Not in Breda, of course, but anywhere else.
Well, they can try.
They can try. Always a competition keeps you sharp, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Harun, I want to thank you a lot for sharing your experience and knowledge also. I think this will be helpful for a lot of people watching. And I really hope that the gyms can open up soon again and that you guys can pick up where you left off and keep building on the legacy.
Yeah, we will do. We have we will work on our plans. And thank you for inviting me again. I hope for the viewers it will be informational. If anyone has any questions, they can reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Happy to share whatever I can share with them. And thank you again.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys, everybody watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel, of course. But like Harun says, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And we'll make sure that they end up at Harun and Reinier together. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time, Harun. Thank you for doing this and all the best.
No problem. Thank you. All the best to you guys as well.